The men's 4x1 at the World Championships are over, and this race definitely lived up to the hype, because the big bad Americans got it done. And I say it that way for a reason, because they were always supposed to win this gold medal from the time that we knew that the relay was coming. Like, once you got through the 100 and the 200, and Jamaica was eliminated in the prelims, they were supposed to win. But that's never a safe bet when we go out there to run a 4x1. But Noah Lyles said himself that as long as he's running on an anchor leg, Team USA does not lose in the 4x1. And I'm starting to think that maybe he was right about that. So allow me to set the stage, because once again, the movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you only watch the ending. You gotta know what led up to it. When Team USA goes into their prelim, they ran with a order, 4 men, where only one of them came back for this final, and he was the leadoff. That means everything else changed. And the team that we ran has not run a relay as that team this entire year. For that matter, all of these passes, like the ones that went from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, again, everything, not only this year, but in the past, there's almost no history of those passes, like from one athlete to the next, actually being effective. So we're basically rolling it out there and going to see where the chips fall. Team USA has a new relay coach. They switched from last year to this year. We know what happened in Paris. And they came back with Coleman and Bednarek on the first and second legs, which technically makes sense when you're talking about talent. But because they had messed it up a year before, they had to get it right now. Canada was probably the front runner. I think everybody understood that because they were the Olympic gold medalists. They'd also won a world championship in 2022, and they were running the exact same team. The only problem is, Canada does have a cap on how fast they can go. I said it, and I'm on the record for it, that if you break 37.5, you're likely going to win the gold. That's all it's going to take. And America is really the only team, outside of Jamaica, that has the foot speed to do it. Most of the other nations that were in that final are getting close to maxing out what they have. So when the gun goes off, you've got Jamaica, not on the line, America, I believe, in lane 7, Canada's in the center of the track, and you do have fast teams like Ghana and the Netherlands, who nobody really thinks that much about. But they figure out how to get the stick around. Like, they just do. Neither of those teams had men in the 100 or the 200 meter finals, let's just put that out there, but they're still competitive when we got here. The first leg goes, and Coleman does what he's supposed to, and this time gets the stick to Bednarek. From what I can tell visually, they went with a more conservative pass, as I expected them to. And going into that second leg, Bednarek and Jerome Blake of Canada, are both running very well. Bednarek is faster. Like, not an opinion, it's a fact. But when they get to that next baton pass, like from second to third, things don't go ideal for America specifically. This is where they spot some space to the field. Because Cordy Lindsay leaves, they bobble the baton, he actually has to look back in order to grab it. And then once he does, he takes off, heading in to the final pass, because Brendan Rodney of Canada is coming. At this point, it's pretty clear. It's the USA and the Canada once again, and they're going to the finish. Noah Lyles just has to get the stick. That's all he has to do. But it's him versus Andre DeGrasse, and I said it before the final went off. Once again, I have the receipts to prove it. If it's Noah Lyles and Andre DeGrasse in a dead heat, I'm taking Noah every time. Not only was it almost equal, but Noah actually gets the stick slightly ahead of Andre. That pass wasn't perfect. Now, even if it was perfect, it wouldn't matter that much. Because like I said, if it's equal opportunity with this version of Noah and that version of Andre, as good as he might be, this race is over. And when Noah takes off, within 3 steps, I'm like, well, this race is done. America's gonna pull it off. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. When they come through the line, the final time is 37.29 seconds. It's under 37.3, which is important because that puts you in another class. Again, you had to break 37.5, 37.3, that puts you in a separate class where, again, only teams that have real foot speed, like a bunch of world-class guys who are in finals, like maybe they could do it and go that fast. And when you look at Canada's clock, It says 37.55, which is exactly what I thought it would. 37.5. After the race, Canada was visibly upset, especially Jerome Blake on camera, and I totally understand it. My heart goes out to him because I know that they put a lot of energy into this relay, but I still think they ran just about what they had. I don't think they were going to run faster than 37.5, maybe 37.48, 37.47. That's about it. Again, if you're just adding up the clocks and what they're working with and how well they executed. America didn't run a flawless race. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. They did not. They ran with conservative passes, butchered one, and still won the race. And for the record, that is what happened in 2023, when they had passes that were far from ideal. Bobbled some, struggled through it, but they got him in the zones and they had enough foot speed to counter for what everybody else was doing. Because once Noah Lyles gets it, and he has even a prayer of getting a step on the field, like if he's getting it even to the field, this race is done. They did it back then, and they did it again now. Now, what does this all mean? I guess it just brings us back to what we already knew about Team USA. We have, for the most part, the majority of the world's fastest men. So much so that we have to leave a bunch of them home who don't get to compete for us because some of these other nations, like the Netherlands, Ghana, and so on, they are using athletes on their relays whom we would never have in our relay pool, just being honest. But for their nation, when they run like a team, they can put out a performance that might be able to break 38 seconds. Because if you can break 38, you're likely going to be in a world championship final. That's just how fast you got to go. America qualified through to this final with a severely underachieving performance on speed. But they also ran essentially a brand new team. I mean, even though you brought back one guy, all the passes changed. So it's a brand new team. That's just what it is. And the luxury of swapping people in and out, like, yes, you can keep people a little bit fresher, but it also makes you nowhere near as sharp when you have a team that doesn't run consistently. I'm gonna go on the record to say this part one more time. When America goes out with a team that has Noah Lyles, Kenny Bednarek, and Christian Coleman, it doesn't even matter who the fourth leg is, no shade to Courtney Lindsay, but that is just enough talent to threaten for the world record if you actually execute properly. But that's the problem, if you execute properly. Again, their speed out-talented the rest of the field in this race. The time, if you add up what they do individually and look at what the first group was, you could argue that maybe, give or take a little piece here and there. For the most part, the gap in time that we saw from the first round to the second round was almost entirely talent-based. America is much faster than this, and the athletes on the team know it. But you can't win a race if you can't get the stick around. And conservative passing is what we have to vote on sometimes just to get around. But even that can backfire on you. Because when someone's coming in real hot, even if you try to be conservative, you can end up having somebody run up on you. At which point, if the stick is waving and you have to pump the brakes in order to get it, that could be the end of the race right there. Shout out to Team USA. I'm proud of them for getting another gold. We put together gold medals at the World Championships more often than not now. 2023, they won a gold. 2025, now they picked up this one. You go back to 2019, they got gold. But in 2022, it was Canada who took them out. The real issue is that these World Championship gold are treated as practice medals for the Olympics. And Team USA still does not have a standing medal of any color from the Olympic Games unless you go all the way back to 2024. And like I said, of any color, because that one wasn't even a gold. All the reasons, all the politics, all the things that influence why they've consistently failed on the biggest stage we have in track and field for the 4x1 are beyond me right now. I've shared a whole bunch of thoughts in other videos and I'm not getting into it now. And even though other nations thought they had a chance to beat the Americans, and they went out there and gave their most valiant effort, that's what the clocks tell us. They never really did. Because the only team that could touch them, specifically with foot speed to do it, didn't show up to the starting line for the final. The truth without Photoshop about the 4x1 for Team USA is that every time they go out there, it is gold medal or bust. Being the relay coach is basically the most thankless job you can ever get, because you're supposed to win no matter what, and if you don't, your job just might be on the chopping block. But fortunately for Team USA, in the year 2025, they just won a gold medal one more time. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.